Okay, that's better. Can you hear me? You can, okay. I'm just making sure because I turned off the other computer, the other side where they're taking the quiz. So I just want to give a gallery view so I can see. Great. So those of you taking the quiz, if you see high school students, if you see students staring into the computer, that's because they are taking a quiz. It's on what we call Brightspace, and it's a great classroom website kind of thing where students all get their assignments, and this is really a short quiz. But I did want to welcome you while they're taking their quiz, and I want to tell you that at Springfield College, and Nikki might join in again, but at Springfield College, we are offering a lot of classes face-to-face. And this one is a face-to-face class, which means students come in here, but we all have masks. And those who might be on isolation or might be uncomfortable, they're able to stay on Zoom, which is why some of the students in the class are currently right now on Zoom. So I wanted to mention that. And I wanted to say that typically, if you were here on our regular, this is my favorite open house, usually. And not that this isn't wonderful, but we usually have our accepted students do an overnight. They stay with an OT student, they come into this class, and they spend the day with them. But this is okay. We'll still have a good time. After this class, there's a panel. We're going to definitely break for 5 minutes so that I can just kind of get into my office actually and get somebody after classes. The tables are sprayed down, so I need to go find somebody to do that so I can join the panel. So
Dr. Simmons, is the panel on the same Zoom link or is it a different Zoom link?
Zoom link. So just stay on. Just turn
Okay.
off your, mute yourself or turn off your video, and you go take a 5-minute break at the end of class too. So I am guessing that most of the students are done. So I am going to, I'm going to keep this on just in case I need it later and go over to the front of the class. So Alexa, Roberts, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to give you your name tag over here, but you're over there. I gotta turn everything off here. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Bring my glasses down now. I look like an old lady like I am. All righty, so how's it going, students? The Springfield College students, good? All right. So as I said, we have high school students on, and I always invite everyone to unmute themselves. In fact, my class students know I beg for that because I think it helps you to participate a lot more readily. So I want all of you students in my OT class to impress these high school students, which means you're going to participate. And I'm not even expecting right answers when they participate. What makes me happier is that people are brave enough to give it a try. Anyway, today another assignment, writing assignment was due, right? How did it go? Easier the third time? Yeah, good. Do you feel like you're getting to know how to read a research paper now? Good. And this isn't even research class, so I will not be spending 12 hours tomorrow correcting your papers so that they're done on Thursday, because you don't have one due for a little while. So you will definitely get feedback from these papers before you write your fourth. So don't worry about that. But I also want to tell you that those of you who have your first 3 papers with a 90 or above do not have to do a fourth. Okay? So we'll see how this one turns out. And if you've already gotten 2 90s and you're pretty solid about this one, then you don't even need to consider your fourth. But I will try to get them corrected and back to you soon. Just probably not by Thursday. That is so hard for me to do those last 2 weeks. All right, what else is going on? Oh, so we're kicked out of this classroom on the 4th because there's another lab going on, another OT lab, and they need the large classroom. Doesn't happen during non-COVID times, but it does happen occasionally. So next week, next Tuesday and next Thursday, we're supposed to be your teaching activity days. However, because of 4th, we have the lab in here, we will be on Zoom. So the teaching activity classes are going to be next Tuesday and then the following Thursday. Okay? So I will be posting sometime today a Google Doc so that you can sign up for next Tuesday or next Thursday. In the meantime, send me an email if for some reason you can't do one of those days. So about noontime, I'll be looking for any emails if you can't do a day. The teaching activities, if you are a regular Zoom person, you'll do your teaching activity on Zoom. If you're regularly in here, then I hope to have you in here. We can go up to the upstairs. There is a kitchen upstairs, so you can do a cooking activity. There's a microwave, oven. There's also hallways, so I'm hoping that there's some movement activities. What I want you to do, though, is as you sign up for the date you want, I want you to also sign up for what your activity is. That way I know where to assign you. Each day, I believe there's 4 or 5 groups that will be going. And then the next day, there's that amount too. You will have, when you teach, you will have around 3. Sometimes things work out that you might have up to 5. Sometimes it might work out that you only have 2. But around 3, so plan for that. I can supply colored paper, markers, a ton of scissors, pipe cleaners, I think what we have, tape, glue stick, and then there's all sorts of cooking pans and bowls and stuff. I guess that's about it. So other things you would need to supply yourself when you do this. Remember, it can be an act. Actually, what are some of you going to do? I know, I introduced this over a month ago. So who has an idea what they're going to do? Be impressive. Maggie, what are you going to do?
I don't know yet. I've been going I don't know. I kind of thought about it.
She's telling me she doesn't know yet.
I don't.
Maggie's favorite game is
Cornhole.
Cornhole. She runs a cornhole tournament here. And she is a first-year student, and I think she did that before she unpacked her belongings into the her residence hall. All right, Brian, what are you gonna teach? No idea. Someone tell me.
I think I'm gonna do sign language.
Thank you, Val. There's one. So she's gonna do sign language. She'll figure out something fun to do with that. Keep in mind, you could do like, I don't know, some sort of dance. I told you somebody did Irish step dancing, moonwalk. Any ideas yet? Katie? No? All right. You're gonna be teaching, some of you are teaching next Tuesday, so be ready. Any questions about it though? Jerlise, how about you? You have one in mind?
I'm thinking about juggling, but I'm not sure if I can have someone learn that in 20 minutes.
They don't have to. I'm glad you brought that up. Just
Okay.
teach, and there's steps to teaching that, right?
Yeah.
So they'll get to at least one or two of the steps.
Yeah.
Good. That's perfect. That's good. All right. So yeah, when you teach somebody, they don't have to go through the whole thing. Oh, and it's so much fun. Sometimes when people do some of these dances or routines, you know, there's usually one in the bunch that just doesn't catch on, and it makes it more fun. It really does. So don't worry about when you're the student in the group being perfect, because we do a little show and tell at the end. And honestly, these 2 days are really fun days. And you will be a week after you do the teaching. So half the class will have both things due a week earlier than the other half. A week after, you will be doing an activity analysis write-up. We will be going over that today so that you're ready for that. All right, the other thing I wanted to let you know is there's a volunteer program I kind of am in charge of because I have 2 independent study students who are seniors in the OT program. And they want us to do an independent study. They love older people. They are running a phone friend program. So let me share the screen. And we'll go to this. Or here. All right. Jerlise, I can see you. Can you see everything?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So the phone friend program flyer is here. And this will describe what's going on. That's it. So this is a flyer that we send to area council on aging at senior centers, assisted living. And I can't tell you the sweet people that call me because they're asked to call me and want to have a phone friend is just wonderful. So some of you I know are saying you are having a hard time with getting some human service experience for your application into the OT program, that this is one way to get it during the COVID times. So I would suggest send me an email, just like them. You don't have to call, you can send me an email. I have them call. Send me an email if you're interested, and these 2 students who are also HSOT majors will work with you, and I find you a phone friend and you work with that. You call that phone friend. It's about a half an hour a week, half an hour, 45 minutes, depends on how chatty they are. But it's really good because these people have been so lonely for so long. And even though they have their vaccines, it doesn't mean that their family can visit them yet. So I think it's a really good thing to do. So any questions about either the teaching activity assignment or the Fun Friends program? I know of some OT students started it last fall, and 2 of them are still continuing it. And I know of a pair I just set up that she's going to do it for the next 5 years with this gentleman. He is the sweetest man. And he loves OT students. A number of them end up being, they love it because they came to Springfield College. So this is their alma mater. They go, yes, I'd love to talk to a Springfield College student. All right, so those are my announcements. And high school students, any questions so far? Nope.
Actually, sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
For the teaching activity, what does that mean? Like, what do you guys do for the teaching activity?
They haven't, I don't think, thought it through yet. But what they'll be doing, and that's a good question, just to make sure I can review it for them too, is there will be a group and it needs to be spaced, safely spaced. And one of them will teach 2 or 3 to 5 peers an activity. Sometimes card games are done, crafts, embroidery, baton twirling. So it might be at tableside, it might be in the kitchen area, in the lab. So that's what it is. And then in 20 minutes, we switch around and another group teaches. So, okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Where? Oh, I see the blank screen. I was looking for myself in the other window, which is silly. All right, so we're going to start in on a PowerPoint. So I'll share this PowerPoint. And don't look for it on Brightspace yet, but it will be, okay? And I'll explain why. Well, let me explain too where we've been in this class. We've done some history, OT history in this class. Then we rolled into the philosophy of OT. And the philosophy OT feeds our theories. OT theories our modalities that we're getting into today are based on OT theories. So you may see in some of these modalities the OT philosophies, because the theories we will get into starting in 2 weeks. But I wanted to make sure you understood where activity analysis happens and where education happens, and put that into context as you do your teaching activities. So today is modalities. You will learn soon the theories behind some of these modalities. And because we're professionals, we have to base our practice, our techniques, our intervention on evidence. And the evidence includes theories. Okay? So, share the screen. We'll go this way. Okay. I'm going to. So though this is hidden, I think it's hidden to you guys. Is it? Good. There's a reason for that. So get the share sound while it's there. Okay, this is a do it yourself DIY, right?
DIY.
That's why it wasn't making sense to me. I'm bad at spelling, but that's bad. This is a do-it-yourself PowerPoint. All right, so that means as we go through this, you all are going to help me fill it out. And then I will, probably not directly after class, because I will do the piano thing, but I will get it posted. Okay, so don't worry about filling things in now. OTPF, which I have copies for you guys here in color, even though I requested grayscale, so you're lucky. The OTPF stands for what?
Occupational Therapy Framework, or Practice Framework.
That's like me with the DY. Occupational Therapy Practice Framework. Thank you, Maggie. There are 2 parts. All right, Natalia, what's one part? What's that? Okay, you're jumping into the next layer. So yes, you are not wrong. There are two parts. The domain is one. What does the domain mean? Grace? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What? Okay, that's, yeah. So the domain are the types of activities, the types of things we look for. So we will investigate what our clients' activities are, what their occupations are. We will it's what's in our house for what we're going to evaluate and consider in order to, that's our domain. And the other half of the OTPF is the process, how we do it and what we do. All right. So modalities, what half do modalities fall in? I'll give a hint. They are our interventions. The process, right. All right. So domain and process. Domain and process. Go to the next one. All right. Our OT process includes our, and I just said, what is it?
Modality.
Modalities. Thank you. Four types of modalities. Anybody remembering what they are? It's probably on your quiz. Just throw out any type, one type. What's that? Heat. Okay, sure. Heat is a type of modality, and that one is part of, that's a good one to start with because it's part of the preparatory group. Okay, we have preparatory methods that we use.
Sensory input.
Sensory input, and I want to, sensory goes with the preparatory as well.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll give you, starts with, excellent, purposeful activities. What's another one? Therapeutic exercise is another preparatory. Okay, so we're going, very good. Occupation based. And there's kind of a couple others that are in a slightly different category, but I think fits well here too, is education. And you all will be using, when you do your teaching activity, you'll be using education, because you'll be teaching, and you will be using a occupation-based or purposeful activity. It depends what your activity is. Is it a whole meaningful activity, or is it, part? You might be teaching dribbling or something, so that would be part of basketball. All right, so when you do that, these are 4 types of modalities. Modality number 1, which is the preparatory, and you've been telling me them. Who said something that started with an S?
Sensory input.
Sensory, and I'm putting that in with, I want to just make sure I've got the, let's start it with the other one now. They separate this, sensory, and what does PAM stand for?
Physical agent modalities.
Very good, physical agent modalities. But physical agent modalities, and when you use them, you're doing sensory input. So I'm putting those together. Okay, someone else said, thank you, therapeutic exercise, which is abbreviated, oftentimes TheraX. In fact, if you're in the clinic, you'll never hear probably therapeutic exercises. You'll only hear TheraX. And how about a third? That would be a therapeutic exercise. That would be one of those. Orthotics, good. Whoops. Okay, so preparatory, what does that mean? That's what it says. Preparatory activities, activities that OTs do with a client to
Prepare them for the
Right. Very good. To prepare them for purposeful activities or occupation based. So, physical agent modalities. You mentioned which one? Heat. Heat is one. Let's move to, I'm not sure if that's the one I start with. We'll go here. We'll go with that one. Okay. Also known as FAMs. Now we have all sorts of abbreviations. All right, I'm going to start with heat. So we'll see if this works. Uh-oh. Yeah. Here we go.
So this is just heated kidney beans in the microwave. It's just a dry bean, and it's a really nice way to get a circumferential heat and to get some.
All right, so Val and Julie's, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Hear it, okay, good.
Mobility in the heat, and you're going to just take your wrist and get it in there and move your hand around, and you can even just let it sit there. But it's a nice way to heat your tissues before you do range of motion, and it feels really good. It brings a lot of good blood flow to the area. It's sort of along the lines of, I don't know if they do flutotherapy as much anymore, but do you remember the corn husk machine that people would stick? It's kind of along the sort of a cheap at-home version of that. So what you're going to do is just stick your hand in.
Does feel good.
And just kind of move your wrist around in the heat and just kind of slowly move it around and warm up the tissues.
If you can, see the wrinkles on her knuckles here? When you look at this pan, you're not going to see it.
Feels really good.
That. Okay, see how fast I can get back to. Okay, now I'm going to try this one. Cold, that's another type. That is, again, this is the PowerPoint I will post. And, oh yeah, oh my gosh, this is.
And I'll show you how we're going to do this. Have you ever done this before, by chance? What I do, and this is something that if it works for you and it feels good and it decreases the swelling, you could actually do it at home. And it's something that I've used a lot for 20 years. And when people have swollen hands, one of the things that can work really fast is putting their hand in an ice slush. So I'm going to fill the bucket up about a half to 2/3 of the way with ice. And it doesn't matter if it's crushed ice or ice cubes. And then I'm going to put water in it. And then we're just going to go in real quick. I mean, it's not a long time.
Really?
So that's all I'm going to do.
A little bit.
Is fill that up with water. So hold on one second. I'm just going to take it over. That's okay. So, and I'm going to put my hand in there with yours. So I'll take off my watch here. And we're going to go in, and 3 to 5 seconds is all. Okay, so, ready?
See? Can you see how that hand is
Up past the wrist. 1, 2, 3, and out. Cold?
Cool.
But is it okay? Does
It's
it hurt?
fine, yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
No.
That's a
Okay,
nice
we're going to go
job.
one more time.
Okay.
Okay.
He's a wonderful.
1, 2, 3, and out. The second time it's usually colder.
It is.
You notice that? Okay. And then let's go ahead and dry it off.
So he's had a what?
Okay, now let's take a look at your hand again and see
Stroke.
if we
Had a
notice any
stroke.
difference.
Yep, good.
Do you see the wrinkles come back?
Mm-hmm.
You
And
see
the
that?
color's different too.
See the color's a little different?
Wow, how neat.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Now try and make a fist again.
So they tried this before.
Wow, it's even better.
Can you tell a difference?
Yeah.
And open your hand. I know it's harder to open, so I'm going to help you.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to do it again. Okay, make a fist again. Feel a difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's open your.
So there's heat and cold. What's another type of preparatory? Anybody know? Oh, you are on. Whew. Now I have to try to get those. So, uh-oh. Here we go. I guess it doesn't want to give me full screen. It's okay, you can see it. Okay, these are electrical pads being put on. You didn't see, and I didn't really show, but these are where the pads are being put on, the muscle bellies. She was unable to extend her wrist at all. She has what's called flaccid muscles. They're not innervated. They're not, the pathways from the brain have to be retrained. And this is a manner that we help people to retrain them. So when they have they may have
move any
traits.
of your fingers upwards? Try again.
Okay. Oh yeah, they should. So you see how her hand goes sideways as opposed to extending. There is some innervation to some of her muscles that is somewhat attached. So these are attached, and they're set. And now he has bought them so that the current is running through to her muscle belly.
Try to relax.
Then he's going to shut it off, asking her to relax. I think he does it one more time anyway. And this is to help get those, after the stroke, get those pathways back to the brain again. So these are preparatory, and remember the video in the first day, the woman that was putting makeup into her purse? So this is similar, but that was more of a purposeful activity. So that's where electric stim is used for the next level of activity. This is just preparatory. All right, and then we have the third, which are orthotics. And orthotics are just like different splints and seating and positioning. And Brian, you can start. So what I have, those of you on Zoom can't do this, but here's a couple of orthotics. You got to have a tiny little thumb to fit through that. This is a little bit bigger, so those of you with bigger hands. These are just splints that will protect your wrist from flexing. So sometimes people will start to get, often after strokes as well, their wrist may be pulled into flexion, and this can rest that. It's also often used after surgery to keep the hand into a comfortable, neutral position. So these two are those, and this is a thumb spica, is what that's called. So if you want to handle these, try them on. Just take the gobbledygook there, put that on your hands, and then and why don't you guys start cleaning your hands back there? You've got the thing right there. The pass, you can pass that around and then pass the splints around. Another part of orthotics that I mentioned up there are seat cushions, seating and positioning devices. This is one of my favorite. I don't know if you guys can see it out there. But this is called, anybody? No, I can't imagine any of you would know the name of this cushion. It's called a Rojo Cushion. And you take like a bike pump and you pump up these cells. It's you don't pump them up really tight, but if somebody has a decubitus, and what's that? We talked about that before. Spinal cord injury, people get it when they sit too much. Another name of it, of a decubitus, bed sores. So if you have a bed sore, not you, but if your client has a bed sore, then you can tie down specific, I forget, the camera's over there, tie down specific cells to avoid the decubiti. Okay, I'm not going to pass this around, but just so that you can see it. And also, cushioning for the back, for good support on the back. We might also be recommended in setting up for people. So those are all preparatory methods and modalities. All right, our second major modality is purposeful activity. Purposeful activity is wonderful for two basic reasons. One, because as you do it, there's some embedded goals in there, inherent kinds of fun things. So an example might be to do a flower arrangement. Why is that good? Why is, I mean, the preparatory things are kind of boring. Oftentimes they're being done to the client. But this is, the client is participating and seeing a visible outcome. Why is that good? What will that help to do? Right on, because it'll motivate them. It'll motivate them to do something. Sometimes it's a little hard to exercise, but if you're riding your bike, that's exercise, and that's a lot more motivating. So purposeful activities are like oftentimes doing something that's fun. Your teaching activity might be a purposeful activity. It might be something that you could say someone who has weak fine motor, little motor movements, if they did this activity that you're teaching, could strengthen those. Does that make sense? So a lot of your teaching activities as I said, will be purposeful activities, and they will be good because they'll be motivated. And purposeful activities also have therapeutic goals. Anybody know what I mean by that? Kind of just explained it. So it's good because there's a fun goal, upon completing. It's also good because there's a therapeutic element to it. There's a therapeutic goal. The fine motor skills might be improved. Gross motor, range of motion, things along that line. Here's something, if I'm ever your client in the future, which could definitely happen. So I need to be nice to you now. And I need range of motion in my shoulders. Something I absolutely love to do is hang laundry. So can you, now that wouldn't be fun for some people, but I like, well, now I like 2 housework things. Now that I'm starting to get into cooking, but I do like to hang laundry. All right, so let's look at this one now. Here is a purposeful activity being done. Oh, I forgot that I did the flower arranging. Okay, looks like, I moved that over.
Those camellias are gorgeous from your backyard there. You know what I was thinking? Do you think we can reach with this hand? Come towards me. There you go.
That's called hand over hand assist.
Oh, those are beautiful.
And her problem, can you tell? One strong side, one very weak, flaccid side. What happened? Don't say, Maggie.
Stroke.
Stroke. Is that Val? I can't see if you said it on Zoom. Very good. Yeah.
Should these go in the water?
That would be nice. You want to use the scissors and trim the stems a little bit?
So can you all see me when I retire? I have to go back to being an OT. I will be doing home care. These videos make me see how much fun I'm getting now.
It is tough, isn't it? We can put this down in the sink and we'll get that later.
So she is doing hand over hand, helping her move her fingers and her wrists through some peaceful activities. She's also practicing. This hand will continue to get hit. What side is her dominant side?
That's an old one, isn't it?
Left side. Can you see how she's handling those scissors? But the fact that she's doing what's called bilateral
You know what?
activity.
Turn the scissors around. Maybe you've got the handles. Hold on one second, Harriet.
Okay.
I think try that way and see if that makes it easier for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to do it higher.
Okay. It's a good idea.
There.
That was better. Should we hold on, Harriet? Hold on one second. Let me help
Get her
with this hand.
bilateral.
Just 1 second.
Very important. You want those
What?
signals
Can you hold the scissors?
working together.
Wait, Harriet. Let go. Let's do this.
All right. Okay, so, oops. I'm going to do current slide. Let me go down. Okay, contrived activities are a part of this modality as well as a part of purposeful. They are, another name for contrived would be simulated, right? I'm not going to fill that in, you'll remember that. And here's some examples. Here's a nut and pegboard type of thing. And then dressing steps. Not the last, but the third, I should say number 3 is occupation-based. Occupation-based activities should be central to the client's what? What's that? Goals? Yep, good. What else?
Identity.
Identity, excellent. What else? Yep. Interest, yep. Interest, needs, whatever, okay? That makes it also, client, what's the philosophy centered, right? That's from the philosophical terms. That also makes it client-centered. All right, so I'm going to show you this next video. And I'm going to want you to take a look at this and see what motor skills, process skills, interaction, communication, see what skills, and this again is from the OTPF, are being used. Oh, geez. I don't think I can do this one. I don't think this is working. You know what? Let me see if I can find it this way. Okay, see if it just automatically brings me there now. It doesn't. Shoot. How about if I do? I don't know that this is going to work. Sorry. What was the one? I'll just look. Oh, yeah, I remember. Was school. It's Hayden. See if you see Hayden. I'm not sure how to spell her name. Oh. This is the one I wanted. This is so good. I want you to watch the patient of the therapist. I want you to think about the skill. First skill, the therapist skills. Watch how patient this therapist is. Problem solving. Can we get that hand to be occupied or what? So though she's reaching for her food with the left hand, it's really her right that has more control, which is what? Now watch. Oh, my left hand is. Equipment is being discussed. Ooh. We can stop at that. I just think that that's an amazing short vignette of watching this little girl who's on the autism spectrum go from not holding the utensil at all to almost feeding herself. And the mother is so excited, but it took a lot of patience for the therapist just kept wiping, you're not eating applesauce with that left hand, and so I want to go back to the PowerPoint here. And first of all, what occupational area from the OTPF is being involved here? All should be able to answer this. ADLs, right, ADLs, being self-feeding, eating, okay? So that occupational area. How about what kind of motor skills are you seeing the little girl have to try to control? Grip, right, what else? Control bringing the spoon to her mouth. She's not reaching yet because she's really being mostly handed the spoon. But those are two very important motor control aspects. Any process skills going on? That's a little harder to see. Process and kind of also involves like cognitive skills. So the little girl is having to understand if she does this, she's going to get applesauce. So she's having to process that motor movement goes with a reward. Is the little girl interacting or communicating in some way? Yes, she is. She's having to be there. People with autism have a hard time oftentimes communicating, but she's having to let somebody take care of her hand. She's having to cooperate if she wants that applesauce. And then she also gets so excited, you know? So there is some, and that mother, oh my gosh, who wouldn't want that mother? She is such a sweetheart. Emotional regulation skills is that little girl having to practice those. Absolutely. You know, she's having a hard time with it, but she didn't run away. You know, she couldn't use her left hand, so she regulated that desire and then did try to get her right. So what education? Is the OT doing any education?
She's kind of like talking along with things, and the mom is like, "Oh, well, I might do this."
Yep.
And then therapist is like, "Okay, well, like, let's try this."
Absolutely. A lot of education going on with that mother. Okay, so the next part of the process of OT is doing an activity analysis. If we were to go back to that last video, that therapist is analyzing, and you didn't hear this at the beginning, I don't think, but she said, your daughter, I noticed she has some grit. To eat with a spoon, you have to have grit. So the therapist was noticing this little girl does have some of the skills necessary to self-feed. So she analyzed in her mind what is required for self-feeding and what that girl has. If you recall in your textbook, that's called activity synthesis, where you're making that match. What we're going to do, but anyway, here's some information about that. Oh, you guys on, I don't think I can see this. You guys on Zoom, can you see that? Not bad.
Screen isn't shared.
Can you see the slide here, activity analysis?
Well, we can only see like the bottom half from like the screen on the wall.
I skipped to something else, I'm sorry. Let me bring you saw the video though, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the bottom half.
Oh. Bring it back. So only the bottom half of the video?
Yeah.
That's because I went here.
See if she'll do it with it just
Now
a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
She has to point to everything else.
I want you to see a little bit of it anyway.
And normally I'm not that therapist that wants to, I'm not the person that wants to wipe off mess because I like mess.
Right.
OTs like mess. But for her, that's rewarding for her to reach with her hand, so I will wipe it off right away.
Right.
So that she doesn't keep getting used to that way of eating her applesauce.
Which is pretty much how we end up eating applesauce at home.
There's a
I
time
need my
that
hand back.
she does it really well up ahead.
This hand.
Maybe this is it.
Yeah.
Look, she really grabbed it herself.
Yay!
That's the best.
Ah, you did it! Oh, yay.
You want more? Okay.
Like, that's a big deal to me.
Put in. Good job.
Put that off. And we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, you're seeing the activity analysis on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So this is the last slide. And this, as I said, is part of our OT process. And when we do this, we're looking for just the right fit, to challenge, not to frustrate. So we only have 10 more minutes. Always tends to happen. But what we're going to do is, you want to lead it? You and Nicole? All right. So you guys on Zoom, you need to do this as well. I can't ask you high school students to all put on your videos, but I wish you would. Come on up and run us through it. Yeah, you want me to bring that up? I will. So during our classes, we always have some sort of activity that stimulates the nervous system. And Nicole and Natalia are going to run it, and I'm going to find it on Brightspace. There it is. Do you want to just tell them? Everybody should. I think you guys can get up and get in a big circle. It has to be. Yeah.
Okay, we're doing hokey pokey.
And we're going to analyze this after. Oh, I got it. Wait. I think I need to screen share, don't I? Yes. There you go. All right, everybody, go ahead, get them started. I'll start the music.
Follow the
You put your right hand in, you put your right hand out, you put your right hand in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left hand in, you put your left hand out, you put your left hand in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Now, not to let you fly, but I to the fly.
You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your head in, you put your head out, you put your head in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your whole self in, you put your whole self out, you put your whole self in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
All right. So I can tell you that Natalia and Nicole did not pick that activity. I did, because it's going to be a good one for us to take a look at your assignment and understand some of the terms. If we had more time, I'd break you down into groups, but actually that also might take a while. So I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to share the screen again and bring up the assignment. Right. I do believe it's working. So again, when you choose your activity, it's got to be something you're not familiar with. How many of you have done the hokey pokey before? You all have. Good. So you can't choose hokey pokey, sorry. Irish step dancing. Anyone know Irish step dancing? I'm Irish, so I think that's why I like that one. No typical card games, no finger folding, you know, that thing that everybody knows how to do. The French bracelet, the friendship bracelet. Find something that's different that others probably don't know about. And I want to make sure that no more than 2 students in the class are doing the same activity. So as you sign up, see what other people are doing. Let's see. I learned caning and taught caning, but I had, I think, an hour. And I still have my little trivet. Okay, so here is what you need to do. general activity analysis, basic considerations. Just cut and paste this whole thing onto a Word file and put your answers right after each item. That just makes it so much clearer. Complete sentences are not needed. Bullets are fine. This is all self-explanatory. Does it require prior knowledge or technical skill? Hokey pokey, does it? No, not at all. Nope. Now let's start with the sensory qualities. Hokey pokey, anything tactile? That's touch. Nope. Proprioception? Absolutely. That arm, the legs, you have to feel them. You have to know how to put them in and take them out. There is also in your assignment block with this assignment is a another handout that has some terms you might not know. If you don't know another term that's not on the term sheet, please look it up. Vestibular. Why? Why is vestibular needed? Right, you'd be a mess if you couldn't keep your balance with this one. Could you do this in a wheelchair? Yeah, you could. So you could still include people who have vestibular problems, which is nice. At the end, you're going to be listing ways to modify, to grade, that was also in your chapter, to grade the activity, to make it either more challenging or doable for people. Okay, let's, I want to get to this. Perceptual skills. Does anyone know what stereoagnosis is? Could any of you, if your eyes were closed, could someone next to you give you a coin and you would know what it is? Because what would you be doing? Using touch, you would be feeling it. You would be using your touch to see it, to understand it. That's stereoagnosis. Body scheme, hokey pokey. Do you have to know body scheme? Absolutely. Yep. That's why I like using that one. Figure ground, you can look that one up. This is important to discriminate, even though one of the terms is discrimination. Right-left discrimination versus right-left awareness. I want you all to pick up your name tags that are in front of you with two hands. Okay, that takes right-left awareness. You need to be aware of where your right hand is and where your left hand is. Even if you picked it up with one hand, you would need awareness of your right hand and awareness of your left. All right? Do you need to discriminate your right from your left as you pick that up? No, you don't. You just need to be aware. Hokey pokey, do you need right-left discrimination? Yes. Do you see the difference? Okay. I highlighted the ones that might be a little challenging. Range of motion, active, passive, and active resistance. Can anyone explain those different types of range of motion? How can I get the crew back? Can't see them.
Where it says chalky.
Thank you, there it is. Once I don't have to use Zoom anymore, I'm going to be really good at it. Okay, active, passive, active resistance. What do you think active range of motion is? Like that? Pretty almost. It's you're actively using it. So I want you, or you're doing it. I want you all to raise your hand up and over your head. You just did active range of motion of the shoulder. Go ahead and put it down. Now I want you to take that same hand, reach your other hand, and I want you, so take your right, pull your left up. Pull your left up. Your right was doing active range of motion, your left was passive. So as a therapist, we often take someone's hand or arm or shoulder and passively move it. This is, I'm passively moving my forearms. I'm actively moving my forearms. Okay? Active resistive, what do you think that is? Is that? It's more like you're adding resistance. So yeah, you're kind of trying to not prevent them, but I now am moving my forearm with some resistance. Okay, so that is how you're going to start strengthening some of these motions. Okay, postural control, that's the only other one highlighted. I highlighted that because as you reach, as you sit up, go ahead and sit up straight. Do you need any postural control? Absolutely. If someone didn't have postural control, they would need supports to be sitting in the chair. Any questions? Okay, don't go. I'm just wondering if I did have somebody lined up from this class to do the piano, but something came up, and so that fell through. Is there anyone who would, it's really easy, who would join the piano? I have 4 other students. Talia, you willing? Piano. Do you have it? Piano. There's, you have a class. It's happening right after this class. Is there anybody who doesn't have a? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So, do you have your laptop? Okay, great. Then just get onto this, and we'll see you all. Let me stop sharing. Oh, I want your articles. Yes, for Natalia. Thank you. You saved my life. Could you drop your article on the mat on the back? You all know that that's a shortcut out the building, right? It doesn't matter. I'm good at it. Thank you, though. That was sweet. Okay, and those of you from high school, I'll see you in 5 minutes on the same place. Okay? Let me stop recording it.